In example number 3, we're going to be using the Pythagorean theorem to solve this problem here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. So a ladder is leaning against the house, and the distance from the bottom of the ladder to the house is 5 feet, and the distance from the top of the ladder to the ground is 1 foot less than the length of the ladder. How long is the ladder? All right, sounds like we're going to get a little nerdy here. So a ladder is leaning against the house. Cool beans. I like to draw, but I'm really horrible at it. There's our cool house. And there's our front door. And there's like a little tree right here. Deet, 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 deet. Okay. So there's our house, and there's a ladder leaning against it. So I'll go ahead and I'll make this right here our ladder. Okay, so it's leaning against the house. All right. And I'm just going to go ahead and, this is the road right here. I'm going to just draw this out. Okay. So it says here that the distance from the bottom of the ladder to the house is 5 feet. So from the bottom of the ladder to the house is 5 feet. Okay. Now it says the distance from the top of the ladder to the ground is 1 foot less than the length of the ladder. How long is the ladder? Okay, so now that we're going to have to introduce some kind of variable, it's always a common practice to label what is it that we're going to let x equal. And usually we find that out by reading the last sentence, which is basically what the question is. So we're going to let x equal the length of the ladder. Okay? That's usually how you know what your variable is, because that's what you're trying to solve for. Whatever it is that you're trying to solve, that means that it's unknown. Because if we know what it was, then it wouldn't be a question anymore. We would just read it. So we know that x is the length of the ladder. So I'm just going to go ahead and put an x right here, because I know that this is my ladder, and I don't know what it is. It says, how long is the ladder? Well, I don't know, so I'm going to label that x. Okay, well, let's read what other information that they give us here. It says the distance from the top of the ladder to the ground, so from the top of the ladder right here to the ground, is 1 foot less than the length of the ladder. So from here to here is 1 foot less than this. Oh, well, if this is x, then this must be x minus 1. Right? Because if this is 5, then you do 5 minus 1. If this was 10, then you do 10 minus 1. It says that it's 1 foot less. So here we have x minus 1, and 5. What kind of a triangle is this? That's right. We have a right triangle. Assuming that the house is not crooked and the street's level, we have a vertical and a horizontal, which means that these are perpendicular, makes a right angle right there. All right, so this is why we're going to be using the Pythagorean theorem. So, the Pythagorean theorem means leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. I think we reviewed this in chapter 8. So our legs are always the sides that connect to the right angle. So that's a leg and that's a leg. So we'll do x minus 1 squared plus my other leg, 5 squared equals hypotenuse squared, x. And now we have an equation that we can solve now. All right, so let's do this. We got this. So x minus 1 squared means x minus 1 times x minus 1. Right? So let's do the FOIL method right there. You would do FOIL, and when you did the whole entire FOIL, you would get x squared minus 2x plus 1. And you could do FOIL on the side there. But this is what you would get. X squared minus 2x plus 1. And then let's bring the rest of this down. 5 squared is 25 equals x. I'm sorry. It's the hypotenuse square, so x squared. All right, so our goal is to solve for x, right? So let's do a few things here. First, I'm going to subtract x squared from both sides because the x squares are going to just eliminate. They're going to cross out. So wata and wata. So now I'm left with negative 2x plus 26 equals 0. 1 plus 25. Trying to solve for x, right? Get x all by itself. So let's subtract 26 from both sides. Oh, yeah. So negative 2x equals negative 26. Divide both sides by negative 2. And we get x equals 13. And let's see here. What did x represents? X is the length of the ladder. How long is the ladder? Well, x is the ladder. So how long is the ladder? 13 feet. And it's very important that you put the unit of measure when we're dealing with word problems.